Hello. Today is April 21st of 2022. My name is Alyssa Nojosa, and I'm interviewing Leonor Perez for the South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University Kingsville. This is part of the Voces of a Pandemic Oral History Project in partnership with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. Please know, Mrs. Bettis, that this recorded interview will be placed in the South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University Kingsville and shared with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. If there is anything you do not wish to answer or talk about, especially given that your recording may appear online, I will honor your wishes. Also, if there is something you want to talk about, please bring it up and we'll talk about it. Because we are not conducting this interview in person, I need to record you consenting. So I'll ask you a series of 6 questions. Please say, yes, I agree, or no, I do not agree, after each one. There are 4 questions we need to make sure you agree to before we go on. South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University Kingsville wishes to archive your interview, along with any other photographs and other documentation. At the South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University Kingsville, we will retain copyright of the interview and any other materials you donate to the South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University Kingsville. Do you give us consent to archive your interview and your materials at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University Kingsville?
Yes.
Do you grant South Texas Archives at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University Kingsville copyright over the interview and any material you provide?
Yes.
Do you agree to allow South Texas Archives at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University Kingsville to post this interview on the internet, where it may be viewed by people around the world?
Yes, I agree.
Do you grant South Texas Archives at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University Kingsville consent to share your interview and your materials with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin for inclusion in the Voces of a Pandemic Oral History Project, which will include posting the interview on the internet?
Yes, I agree on that.
We have many questions in a pre-interview form that we have already filled out. We use that information from the pre-interview form to help in research. The entire form is kept a secure Voces server at the University of Texas at Austin. The final storing of the pre-interview form will be at the South Texas Archives at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University Kingsville. We will have stripped out any contact information for yourself or family members, so that will not be a part of your public file. Your public file will only be accessible at the Jernigan Library. Do you wish for us to share the rest of your interview in your public file available to researchers at the South Texas Archives at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University Kingsville?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure. Do you wish for us to share the rest of your interview in your public file available to researchers at the South Texas Archives at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University Kingsville?
Yes.
On occasion, Voces receives requests from journalists who wish to contact our interview subjects. We will only deal with legitimate news outlets. Do you give consent for us to share your phone numbers or your email with journalists?
Yes.
That was the last question. Now we're going to go ahead and get started with the interview.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself to introduce yourself?
Introduce myself. My name is Leonor Perez. I am a housewife and I love raising animals and gardening.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun.
Mhm.
How did you first learn about COVID-19?
When they threw the bomb at us about it. When they was on the news saying that it was spreading and stuff, you know. But We didn't expect to conquer it in our home,
Was it a surprise whenever you found out that it had already reached the area of the coastal bend?
Yeah, we kept watching the news and they kept saying, and Oasis has so many cases and Oasis is, and it was getting closer and closer to Beeville. But it was scary.
At what point when this pandemic started, did you realize that this was really serious?
When it hit home. I mean, it was serious. I knew that, but it was more serious when it hit your home. It was very scary.
So you said when it hit your home, did COVID-19 impact you personally?
Yes. Yes. My husband got it first and then I got it. But for both of us, I got it the worst. I ended up at the hospital for a week.
And I understand that in the very beginning of the pandemic, um, they weren't really sure how to treat the virus. So how was it at the hospital? Like, how was your experience while you were there?
Well, actually, when I got sick, I didn't feel sick. I just had like a sinus pressure. And my daughter kept telling me, Mom, are you feeling okay? Are you sick? And I said, No, I'm fine. You just couldn't touch my eyebrows. So I told them it was the sinuses. But then she told me something else, and they got me one of those to check your oxygen levels and on your finger, like they do at the hospitals. They got me one of those, and uh, even though I wasn't feeling sick, I was fine and everything. When they put that on me, my oxygen levels were already in the 80s. So she said, Mom, it's serious. You need to go to the emergency room now. So Alex took me and they didn't let me go.
You mentioned that you were there for about a week, correct?
Yes.
Um, were you allowed to have visitors while you were there?
No. Nope. The only people that would go in were the ones to give me shots and medication, and that's it.
How did you feel knowing that you couldn't leave and you couldn't see anybody for that whole week?
Uh, it's sad, but in a way, at least people could call me on my cell phone. So that was good. But the fact of, you heard so many people not making it and stuff, makes you wonder, am I going to get over it?
You mentioned that your husband also got it, but he had more mild symptoms.
He had, no, actually, he had more symptoms than I did, but his were showing. He didn't have trouble with the oxygen and stuff like that. And he basically just got like the flu symptoms, body aches and stuff like that.
Was there anyone else in your family who contracted the virus?
My daughter was here, so she ended up getting it too. And she had a rough time, with the aches and colds, like if she had a real bad case of the flu and stuff, but she did good. She did good.
Was this before or after you got the virus?
Actually, probably close to the time that I got sick, but she never went to the hospital. She would go get tested and they would tell her she was negative, but she was sick, and they kept saying she was negative. So, but probably the same time that Alex got sick, she got sick at home.
And Since the virus began, has it affected the way you go out in public? Like the
Yeah.
difference between before COVID and after COVID?
Yes. We pretty much, and we still pretty much stay home unless we go to the grocery store, or now we go out and get something to eat, but we get the table that's farthest from everybody, and I still choose to wear my mask.
Um, that's pretty cool that you still wear your mask. I know I still wear my mask whenever I go out to the stores. Is there any other precautions that you take besides wearing a mask?
Just a social distance and my mask and my little sanitizer.
I use my sanitizer all the time too. I like to carry one in my car so it's always there and it's always ready.
Uh-huh. Because you got to take your own precautions, because some people don't.
Um, how do you feel about wearing the mask? You say you wear a mask whenever you go to the stores. Um, how do you feel about the people who they don't want to wear a mask, or you see them in public and they're they're in big groups
I
and
I get a feeling like everybody's staring at me, like, because a lot of people, there's some places you go there, nobody's wearing it, and you walk in with a mask, and everybody, when you walk in somewhere, everybody looks to see who walks in, and you feel like oh, she's wearing a mask, but it's awkward, but it's my choice.
do you feel like the masks themselves, is it viewed as more of a like a political view whether or not they want to wear a mask, or is it just like you think they're just uncomfortable having a piece of cloth on their face?
I think some people just don't want to wear a mask at all, but it should it should it shouldn't bother you, because it's to kind of protect you. So, I that's how I feel. It's like I'd rather be safe than sorry, like they say. So I wear mine, and if they choose not to, but that's their choosing.
I completely agree with you with a better be safe than sorry. I think that's a
Yeah.
good philosophy to stand by. During COVID, did you ever did you social distance, or was there times where you would go and like visit or hang out with other people outside of
No,
your house, your household?
no. And we
No.
still don't. We still don't. We still just basically stay at home.
Was there any organizations like a church or something that you used to participate in before COVID?
Say that again.
Is there any organizations such like a church or something that you would go to on a regular basis before COVID
To church.
to
I
church?
haven't I haven't gone back to church.
Um, is it because you'd rather, like you said, be safe rather than
Safe
sorry
and
and
sound,
social
because
distance?
yeah, because a lot of people go to church, and a lot of people go out, and others, of course, they go to their jobs and stuff. So I'm not ready.
That's completely understandable because you never know when it'll come back. Like it's disappeared and come back already multiple
Hmm.
times. It's very scary. Um, did you ever get vaccinated for COVID-19?
Yes, after I had it. After I had it, yes, I did. And I got the booster.
And what was that like? Like, did you have to register or schedule a time to go and get the vaccination?
No, I got it at Walmart. You could do walk-in. just to walk in.
Oh, that's convenient. Was that like later towards like the vaccine had already been out for a while?
Yes, because I did the Moderna. That's the one I did.
And after you got the shot, did you feel any side effects from it?
I just got a light headache and felt a little tired, but that was it. No major symptoms.
From neither shot, correct? Because by my
Neither.
understanding, the first one, it's at least with me personally, it didn't affect me, but the second one was whenever I started to feel kind of like different, like sick.
Mine was mine was the first one. I got like a headache and stuff, but the second one really I didn't get much, nothing. Not even with the booster.
Oh, that's good. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad. I'm glad I didn't have any symptoms of anything.
Do you feel not safer, but a little bit more protected now that you have the vaccination?
Uh, I do, and I do, and I don't because that I guess that's why I'm still pretty cautious as to going out there or not wearing a mask. Like some of the people, oh, I'm already vaccinated and got my booster, so they don't wear a mask. So I don't know. I'm just cautious now.
Does it make you nervous knowing because now the pandemic is seeming to start to like kind of fade away. The the airports now recently I've heard have lifted the mask mandate on their flights on certain flights of airplanes. How do you feel
Hmm.
about that?
Um, I think that's one place that they shouldn't have removed it because an airplane is pretty compact, with a lot of people.
And it spreads through the air, correct?
Right. And it's like a enclosed area.
Yeah, it's pretty tight in those airplanes. Um, has COVID-19 has it affected the way that you're doing healthcare, like your doctor visits or stuff like that?
No, actually, that's the only place that I do go is the to my doctors and stuff. And there they still tell you have to wear a mask.
Do they have any other precautions besides wearing a mask once you go into the hospitals or the doctor?
Social distance on your own to where you stand apart from each other, but the way they had it before to where they had chairs taped not to sit and then another chair you could sit and they took all that off. So it's basically, where you want to sit by yourself or it doesn't matter.
So they make it more of your choice whether or not you want to
Yeah,
be close to other people.
right. But you
That's
have to wear a
nice.
mask.
Do they have the Germex dispensers when you walk in and
Yeah.
out of the rooms?
Yes, they do. And at the counter where you go sign in, there's a bottle of sanitizer. And when you're signing out too, there's a bottle there too.
That's good. I'm glad that, especially in hospitals and stuff like that, that they have they're not forcing it upon you necessarily, but they give you the option to where you can make it as safe as possible for yourself. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna go back to a question that I asked you earlier. You
Mhm.
mentioned that whenever you go to the stores, you wear your mask, you have your Germex, like you're fully careful with going out in public. Whenever you go to the stores, towards the beginning of the pandemic, did you ever come across any issues with people panic shopping, such as like when they over purchase certain items?
No, No, I didn't have a problem with that. I didn't run into anybody, going into a panic and saying, "Oh, I need this, I need that." We would just purchase to have, you know, not a like a closet full of stuff, but when you would buy a big pack, we would maybe buy two and that's it.
Because I know in certain areas they would have limits on how much you could buy because people were buying all the toilet paper, they were buying all the meat, all the canned food.
All the sanitizer, all the cleaning stuff. So it's like, I mean, you don't really have to clean your house that many times. Just don't let people come to your house. I had a sign in my front yard when it got pretty bad. No visitors.
That's one way to stay social distance. That's cute.
Yeah.
Where you live, do you live in like a close, like knitted neighborhood or is you like
No,
out in the country?
out in the country. So
So
that's
you
that's good for me because we just stay home away from everybody.
there, particularly in Beeville, did they have a lot of cases come up in that town?
Oh yes, they did. And some of them didn't make it. It was like we were losing our friends left and right. And you weren't even there to comfort them or anything. And then they didn't make it and they went all alone. That was a very sad part.
And it was also sad because with when that would happen, there was like you weren't allowed to be in bigger groups than 10, 15. So at that point, they weren't letting anybody go to funerals too. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. Just the immediate and that was it.
Was there any deaths in your family or close friends who you lost?
Close friends, yes. Family, I don't think family. Yeah, I mean, I did have family that got it, but no, they made it.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. So you never had to worry about going out and having to attend a funeral or anything like that.
No.
That's good.
I
I'm glad
mean,
everybody was blessed and they got better.
I'm yes.
I know another thing that COVID impacted was the school system. Do you know or did you hear anything about how the schools were run during this time?
The only one that I know is I know a lot of kids they were at home. Like my grandson, he stayed home. He did the Zoom schooling. He did Zoom, but I guess everybody that when the schools closed, everybody had to do some kind of either homeschooling or Zoom or something.
Were you ever have you ever seen like were you there whenever your grandson was at school like on his computer? Have you ever seen him?
Yeah,
How do you think he handled it? You think he did pretty well with online schooling?
I think he did, but I think face-to-face schooling does the kids a lot better than a Zoom because I did see other kids. You know how he's on Zoom and you can see other kids. Some of them they wouldn't sit down or they wouldn't be quiet. And their parents or whoever was there watching them wouldn't do anything. So that interrupts the other kids.
And did he ever, while he was at school, did he ever have trouble motivating himself to do his homework or anything like that? Because he knew that he didn't have to go to school, and there really wasn't anything set in stone to hold him back because COVID-19 was a pandemic, and it they didn't really the schools at the time didn't really enforce too much on schoolwork. So
Yeah.
did he?
He did real good, and because my daughter's work schedule, um, he was enforced by her to do his homework because then he would go with her to work, so he had to do all his work before they would go. So he had that to push him because Mama had to work.
And was it hard for her, for your daughter to go to work and to come home and make sure her son was doing his
Yeah.
schoolwork at the same time?
It was hard. It was hard on him. It was hard on her. And then they both ended up with COVID too.
Oh no. But
Yeah.
they got over
They-
it.
yeah, they got well and everything. No hospital, no nothing.
Um, while you were sick, was there anything that you took or did to help alleviate some of the symptoms besides like once you were out of the hospital? Were you, if you still felt any symptoms, was there anything you did to help yourself gain your strength back?
No. Uh I rested and stuff so I could, move around a little so I could start being able to do stuff, but mainly just rested.
And you said you're a housewife. Does anyone else in your family work or that you talk to work?
Here in my house,
Mm.
and my house is just me and my husband, and he's already retired. So he's here 24/7.
So so in a way, are you grateful for the fact that he's retired and you are a stay-at-home housewife? Did your life seem to change after COVID-19 once you had a social distance? Did it affect you? Did you feel confined or were you pretty comfortable since you are always at home?
No, I feel good. I just, you know, miss going to see a friend or inviting somebody over for dinner. But other than that, I was okay.
Do you see yourself in some point in the near future starting to let people come over more often and have dinner or going out more, maybe to see a movie or go out to dinner or something like that?
Yeah, we do every now and then we go eat dinner and or we get up and go eat breakfast. But we really haven't invited many people here at all.
Um, I'm sorry about that. Do you
Yeah.
miss hanging out with all these people?
Yes, of course. You want to barbecue or something and it's like nobody here.
Yeah, I know it's really sad. Um, do you ever like when you're watching the news about the like during like the the peak of the pandemic, how did you feel when you would see the newscast about people protesting the mask, the protesting that they couldn't do certain jobs such as the bars being closed, the hair salons being closed? What did you think about that?
Well, it's sad because that was their job, that was their income coming in. But then again, you know, people are everywhere, and you don't know who's going to come in. And then what if you get sick and you don't make it or something? You got to think about yourself too, not just other people just because they don't want to do it. They don't want to stay home or they don't want to wear masks. It's hard. I know it was hard on those people, especially if that was their only income, and they had to shut it down and stuff. And others
Yeah.
shut them down because they had no business,
Mhm.
because people weren't going out.
Yeah, it must have been very hard for them not having that financial support behind them.
Right.
I know a lot of people they got shut down, but I'm aware that they had the what was it called? Like the financial relief that everyone or most people received. Are you happy that they got that kind of a check, like that relief?
Yes, yes, especially that it helped people that lost their jobs, or had to close their businesses. I thought that was good.
And now that COVID is starting to fade away a bit, are you seeing more shops and stores opening up?
Yes. We just
It
got a brand new Starbucks.
That's so great. My town got a new Starbucks too.
Really?
Yes. Were there any stores, like local owned stores that didn't open back up after they closed because of COVID-19?
Mm, I don't think so. A lot of stuff I don't know anymore because I was too confined to my house. So, if you see something, you see it on Facebook. Oh, so and so passed away, or so and so this, or, so for a while there, that's all the information we were getting out of our cell phones.
So you heavily relied on your cell phone in order to get this kind of information, correct?
Hmm.
It's kind of cool because they used to say that technology and our phones was like a boundary between people actually speaking, like having conversations and hanging out. Yet during the pandemic, did you feel like it did the exact opposite? Like it brought people together?
I think so because that was, especially the people that do face talk and stuff. They were able to communicate and see each other, so that gave them some little comfort. Especially me, I see my grandbabies.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm glad that you were able to still talk to your grandkids with the phone. Would you use a phone or would you use a laptop?
I use my phone.
That's cool. Um, so this is gonna conclude the end of the interview.
Mhm.
Is there anything else you would like to share or talk about COVID-19 that I haven't asked about?
That it is a really serious. It was, and it still is serious. For people that don't want to take it serious. I take it serious, and I choose to wear a mask because I want to take care of myself. Because the experience I had, I almost didn't make it twice when I was in the hospital. And they because my oxygen levels would go down and my heart rate would go up. And then my doctor had ordered the plasma to help me fight it. And when they got it and they gave it to me, I had a reaction to it. So they had to turn it off. I couldn't do it. So, and they told me, that I could have easily. I broke out in no, it was not hives. It was like some big rat, a welch. I got them all over my body and stuff, and uh, it could have closed my throat. So one of the nurses told me I was lucky because I told them, I said, "Well, do you want to try the plasma infusion again?" And they said no. And I said, "Why?" 'Cause she was like, "No," and I said, "Why?" And she says, "You don't understand. You were very lucky, very lucky." And then she told me what could have happened. I said, "Okay, then we don't have to try it again." But yeah, it was scary. That 1 week was scary because twice, it was like, oh no. And then you're there by yourself, and you say, "Oh my gosh," it's scary. It's a scary feeling that it's hard to let go.
Yeah, I'm very happy that it only lasted that week or 2 weeks and that you're feeling better and that you overcame it.
Yes, I'm very happy too.
Um, well, I'd like to thank you for doing this interview with me. I truly appreciate it. Um,
Okay, you're very
and
welcome.
thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and
Okay.
stop the recording now.
Okay.